Morning, Coach.
Morning.
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
It's bye week, whatever kind of a bye week, a little longer stretch than normal. Get us set for Akron and talk about kind of your thoughts after Toledo.
Yeah, start with that. I think that this is probably top three most disappointed our football team has ever been after a loss. The loss to Pitt in the Quick Lane Bowl, the loss to Georgia Southern, in the last walk-off field goal at the Camellia Bowl, and then this one. Really, really, really quiet team and staff. So the break, I think comes at a good time. If we'd won or had lost, I think the break, or whatever you want to call it, the extra few days comes at a good time. Toledo's a really good team, and hats off to them. They made plays. To win the game. We won the turnover ratio, we won the battle of special teams, we lost the game, and offensively, we had 4 opportunities in the fourth quarter, 2 while we were ahead with 13 minutes left and 8 minutes left, and we weren't able to go down and close it out. And then we had 2 minutes left with 3 timeouts, and then 50-some seconds with no timeouts. And then defensively, had a couple opportunities too. We got them in a couple of tough stop downs, were stop downs defensively, but tough situations for them offensively, and they made plays and got first downs. Obviously, the 4th and 10 at the end was a big one. So yeah.
Dave Grickey, would you like to open us up?
Yeah, Chris, can you talk about, your success that you guys have had on the road, but just seem not to be able, like you said, to close them out at home? How tough is that, not being able to take, care of that home field advantage?
Yeah, you want to play well, home and away. I don't really have a reason, why it's gone so much better on the road than it has at home. It's something that we talk about, for sure. Guys are excited about being home. You're excited about having the whole team there. We've had some really fun victories this year, and they're all been on the road. I mean, I just think about our guys that don't get to travel. They haven't really got to experience, a fun post game and locker room and whatnot, yet this year. But I don't really have an answer for you on that. I'm proud of how we go on the road, our focus and how we go about it. At home we're still away on the Friday evening, and it was not an issue with being locked in or motivated, for this game. 12 o'clock. I mean, our guys knew all week, and we didn't, overhype or oversell it. I mean, everybody knew that, we can control our own destiny in the MAC West. And so they knew how important it was, but, it was not like it was, life and death. I thought we had really the right approach and mindset and, mentality towards the game. So it's a good question, but I don't have an answer for you.
Can you talk about November? Do you like these mid-week games? And obviously a lot to play for still, a bowl bid,
Oh yeah, no, we have a lot to play for sure. I think it's a double-edged sword. With the midweek games, it's tough on the guys. We're going to get home at whatever time in the morning, and they got to be in class at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock the next morning. That stuff doesn't make sense. makes sense that they got to be in class, but to, have 3 or 4 hours of sleep. Obviously, season ticket holders, it's tougher for them to come to an 8 o'clock midweek game than it is a Saturday afternoon when college football's played. So those are some of the things, that you get smaller crowds no matter where you're playing. Those would be, I think, some of the downsides. And then the positive sides that, you're not guaranteed, but a lot of the games are on national television. And the whole country is watching. So I think back to 2016, it was really the first time that the MAC put us on television in the midweek. And, that's when we had our first run, our winning season, went to the Bahamas Bowl. And so, I think the whole country knew it. And if we had not been on national television, there's no way that the whole country would know that Eastern Michigan had a breakout season and whatnot. So, like I said, double-edged sword. We embrace it, and we'll be ready next Tuesday.
Thank you.
Yep.
Tom?
Hey, Coach, how will you handle this? It's not really a bye week. It's more like a bye half week because you play a week from Tuesday. How will you balance trying to get these guys rested up? I know players are banged up this time of year and still get the work in that you need to do to beat Akron.
No, it's a good question. So Mondays are what we call our 0 day. Our guys are off, and so they're off today. We're keeping that the same. We still came in yesterday and wrapped up Toledo. And then, they will be off on Tuesday and Wednesday. We're not going to have any practices. We'll have kind of a shake the rust off, really short Thursday afternoon, and the whole staff won't be back off the road even at that point. And then Friday is a 2-day for us, and a 2-day is a normal Tuesday. And so this Friday will be just like a Tuesday, for our football program. And then Saturday will be a 3-day, Sunday will be a 4-day, Monday will be a 5-day, and then we'll travel, and then it's game day. So we do that, and it's really helpful. Instead of saying that Sunday is a Tuesday, like I just tried to explain to you all, our guys just know, on Teamworks and whatnot, it's a 2-day. And so they know what we're going to do and how we're going to do it, and it tries to keep some order, even though the outside world doesn't, play by our schedule.
Coach, could you talk about Akron? I know record-wise they've only got the one win, but I'm sure this team would like nothing better than to make sure you guys have to wait at least another week to get bowl eligible. And they've played some close games in recent weeks, especially against Kent State. Can you give us a little bit of your insight in what Akron's going to bring to the table in this game?
Yeah, I mean, again, it's the records in this league have nothing to do with it. I mean, they're certainly not a team that has given up on the season, right? I mean, if I guess that could happen at some point with a team some year, and then it's like, yeah, they're not doing very well, and that's not the case. That's not the case. I mean, all of their offensive skill guys are Power 5 transfers. It's their first year. They're super talented. They're really well coached on both sides of the ball. I mean, we've been talking about that all morning. So I mean, their quarterback can throw the ball. He's got weapons that he's throwing it to. He's also their leading rusher. But their backs are Power 5 transfers and all that too. That's what people like to talk about. I mean, they're loaded. And you just mentioned all the close games. I mean, they're one-score games. They're one-score games. And so, I mean, we gotta play, the best we can play, and that gives us a chance to win. And if we don't do that, then we won't win. It does not matter the record.
Coach, and last question for me, I want to ask you offensively. You guys have put together some great time-consuming, methodical drives. But as far as explosives, are there a couple plays when you look back and like, boy, if we just did this or that, there's a couple more explosive plays we could do to really help ourselves?
The answer is yes. I mean, if Haas is able to keep his feet, on the 3rd and 10, that he's he's walking into into the end zone on that. And then there's one that you wouldn't be able to see. I mean, we ended up getting sacked on it, but just a real subtle misstep by one of our players just clouded something up where we had somebody really easy completion, open against man, and would have, could have scored on that one as well. That, we just, I think, Austin kept one on a zone read. Number 25, their safety, made a great play. If we had blocked him, by rule, we want to dive in and try to get to him, then, Austin would have had a real explosive run. Just off the top of my head, that's a stumble away, a back going left instead of right, when he's doing basically a sit route over the middle of the field on a check down. And then I'd say more of a good play by them, their safety, than, a miss by us on that, block. But, those are, we had, I think, 6 explosives by the way that we do it, and our goal is 10 minimum. So, we did not have explosive plays, and certainly could have used those 3, would have changed things for sure.
Thank you, Coach.
Yep.
Alex?
Hey, Coach. Now that you've also had time to rewatch the second half and see how things went, is there anything that you wish you would have done differently, like game planning wise or play calling wise, that you would have done differently in the second half to kind of close things out?
There's always, I'm hard on myself, first. And so I will say this, I think Toledo did a really good job defending us. So I can sit here and say if and but, and if we had done this and all that, we didn't. But a lot of it, I gave you two of 3 examples right there, of explosives. I think, 2 of those were definitely under our control. I think that they made a really good play on the third one that I mentioned. So definitely want to, give them credit because, it's a good defense. But yeah, there's a few that we would definitely like to have back. Our plan and philosophically how we wanted to attack them, we feel as though that we were spot on with that. It was, I could have made some better calls and could have been a little bit cleaner on the execution at times. But again, I think Toledo had a lot to do with that.
One of the players I kind of wanted to point out really quickly, just because he's having a good year, I think, and he had his hands full certainly against Toledo, was Captain Shine. I just kind of want to get your thoughts on, how he's been playing this year, because I feel like he's come up in a lot of, big opportunities and a lot of the big plays.
He has. He's really playing well. We put him, on what we thought was their best receiver, and he was on them all day. And we've done that a number of times now, where we're saying, Kempton, we need, for you to lock down, their best receiver. And that's no small task. There's a lot of talented guys in this league, and, Toledo definitely very, very talented out there. And, Kempton's a good football player. He's having a really good year, and proud of him.
Yeah, he had the opportunity to come and talk to us, a few weeks ago, probably after the Arizona State game, something like that. Kind of shy kid, really nice to meet him. But you obviously know him a lot more, and he seems like he has a lot more character than what he showed behind the podium. What is he like? What's it like having him on the team, and what's it like when he's excited when he's out there making those plays?
Yeah, he doesn't show like excitement, and he's not like extroverted in that way. He's got obviously an unbelievable smile. In an easy smile. He's from Chicago, great family. Battled Western Michigan for him in recruiting, and Coach Reed was the lead recruiter through all that, and really knew Kempton well, and those guys had a very, very close relationship. Kempton's a deep thinker, a little bit, like I said, more of an introvert at times. I think like the friends that he has, I think he's got, like pretty deep friendships, but not a, life of the party, kind of guy. Loves football, and, wants to be great.
As we kind of close out the season, I know the MAC West crucial game just passed, and we still have a few more weeks to go, but even after that, we still know that signing day is coming up, and now's the time to kind of like make sure that the recruits that you want to, go to Eastern, stay on the ship. What's kind of your message to the recruits right now to let them know that things are still heading in the right direction?
Oh yeah, I don't really take that approach at all. There's zero assumption that things aren't headed in the right direction. Our guys are fired up about Eastern Michigan and Eastern Michigan football. There's, don't have concerns about that. I mean, we just played on October 29th to take over the lead in the MAC West. And there's like a lot of football, left to be played. And I don't know, until Greg tells me that we're mathematically out of it, I don't think that we are.
We're not.
So I don't know, I'm probably not answering your question, but it's not really sort of the approach that we're taking with our recruits.
No, that's fair. With Akron coming up, I like to ask you about the coaches. Of course, we all know about Joe Moorhead, but if you live in the Midwest, you probably haven't seen Joe Moorhead live because he was in Mississippi State for so long and then at Oregon. What do you know about him, and what do you expect him to see out of him as a coach?
Well, I just first learned about him. I had never met him, prior to, this summer when we got together at Mac Media Days and whatnot. His reputation is fantastic. And I'll say this, just even having, been in the league but not having had the season yet, just talking to other coaches, especially those who, were recruiting against him and just closer, geographically to Akron. I mean, everybody that I talked to was just like, oh yeah, Akron's doing a really good job, like in recruiting and just program-wise and all of those things. I mean, he is I don't know him well. I really enjoyed meeting him, look forward to getting to know him better. Awesome reputation. And then within the league, just before the season even ever started, people were just like, this is like going well, for Akron. Probably people who didn't want to say that, were saying like, yeah, Akron's, really doing well. And then now, it's just been a day and a half that we're, diving in to them schematically and whatnot. But they're very, very, very well coached, on both sides of the ball. It doesn't take long to figure that out.
And my last, obviously, it's a bye week, but tonight's still a big night. For Halloween, what are you dressing up as? What are you passing out at home? And most importantly, what candies are you hoping your kids bring home?
Yeah. My kids are kind of getting on the verge where, if people say you're too old to take my candy, I would understand. We've got an assortment of candy that we're handing out. And my wife is pretty good at letting guys, choose what candy that they want to take. And so there's a pretty good choice. I'm off sweets right now, so I hope that my kids don't bring home Snickers is off limits, but Twizzlers or anything like that. So just make it a little bit harder for me. But yeah, I hope people have a safe and a fun Halloween night.
No costume?
I don't know if I'm going to be able to get home in time, to be honest with you, tonight. So I'm on the road tomorrow traveling for recruiting, and so I've got to make sure that things are buttoned down. If anybody comes by the office, I may not have a costume on, but we might find some candy to give out.
Coach, I'm going to ask you one more. Brandon Benson, is he playing his best football of the year? He was all over the field on Saturday, almost had an interception, but it seems like I'm saying his name a lot more on the radio recently. Is he playing the best football of the season so far?
Yeah, and he's, with our scheme adjustments and whatnot, he's a piece that his skill set and whatnot has been good for, what we're, wanting to do and what we're doing. So he's playing well. It's been good.
Thank you, Coach.
Yep.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.